Have you ever thought about what it would actually mean to show up honestly on a dating app? Not in the inspirational sense, not be your authentic self. Literally. An ordinary photo, an ordinary job, an ordinary life. No highlight reel, no carefully curated hobbies, no compelling personal brand, just what you actually are. You run the simulation in your head, and you already know what happens. You get swiped away in the first round, not because you're lacking, because in an interface built for infinite scrolling, ordinary gives no reason to stop. Then you see the content telling you to just be yourself, and you feel something you can't quite name, not anger, not sadness, a very specific kind of helplessness. You agree that honesty is good, but here, honesty is something you can't afford. A dating app is a performance everyone joins at the same time. Inside this performance, there's a default language. Photos must be polished. Hobbies must sound respectable. Life must have texture. Personal brand must be legible. Height ideally above average. Income ideally impressive. Owns property. Has a car. Loves travel. Enjoys film. Works out occasionally. Nobody invented this language. It was built collectively, through millions of swipes and filters. The logic behind it is simple. You have 3 seconds for a stranger to decide whether to stop. In 3 seconds, ordinary has no competitive edge, so everyone starts becoming extraordinary. So everyone starts becoming the same. Open any dating app right now and scroll. The faces and profiles flow past like they were generated from a single template. Polished, upbeat, interesting, ambitious, passionate about life. Honesty didn't disappear because people don't want to be honest. It disappeared because honesty in this 3-second competition is a cost. Show up honestly and you bear that cost. Show up dishonestly and you win those 3 seconds. But what you've won is another dishonest performance's interest in your dishonest performance. 2 performances attracting each other. No real encounter ever happens. This system doesn't forbid anyone from being honest. It simply makes honesty the choice that puts you behind. In a place where everyone is displaying their highlight reel, being ordinary requires a kind of courage most people can't afford. But occasionally you come across someone who doesn't seem to be performing, someone who gives you that hard-to-name feeling of something real. They can afford honesty. Why can they afford it? Look closely at the people who give you that feeling of authenticity. They usually share one thing. Their hard credentials have already cleared the first-round filter. Their honesty is a bonus on top of something that already qualifies. They can afford not to perform, because even without performing, they won't be swiped away in round 1. But for someone whose hard credentials are ordinary, showing up honestly means voluntarily giving up the only tool that might make them look competitive in a situation that's already working against them. This isn't a question of courage. It's a question of very concrete circumstances. We say just be yourself, as if honesty were something everyone can choose equally. But in this system, honesty has a cover charge. The cover charge is you need enough hard credentials first, and then honesty becomes a luxury you can afford. Without that, honesty isn't a choice. It's a gamble with poor odds. You show up honestly, and you're betting that in those 3 seconds, the person on the other side has enough perception, enough patience, enough resistance to algorithmic conditioning to sense something genuine in an ordinary profile. Who takes that bet? Honesty is not a choice everyone can afford. In this system, honesty is a privilege. It belongs to those who've already cleared the hard credential filter. For everyone else, honesty is a wager with unclear odds. And if you lose, you don't even get to explain. But here's the more uncomfortable thing. We're criticizing this system, but where did this system come from? Did some company force everyone to present themselves according to that template? Or was this system built by each of us together through every swipe, every filter? You're criticizing a system that turns people into algorithmically sortable products. But the last time you swiped someone away, why? The photo was ordinary. The bio had nothing striking. Height insufficient, income unlisted, life lacking apparent texture. The standard you used was the exact standard you're criticizing, not because you're hypocritical, because that standard has been solidified into the default language of this space by everyone's behavior. Not using it is like insisting on speaking a dialect no one understands. In a room where everyone speaks the same language, you're being honest, but you're alone. This is the deepest layer of the system. It doesn't need anyone to actively maintain it. It only needs everyone to keep doing the least effortful thing. Judge a person in 3 seconds, use hard credentials as the first filter. Save genuine interest for round 2, if there is a round 2. Everyone is waiting for someone else to go first. Everyone is waiting for a connection that doesn't require them to take the risk first. So everyone keeps waiting. So honesty stays in round 2. And round 2, most of the time, never comes. The system is stable not because it's powerful, but because each of us participates in it by doing what requires the least effort. The people criticizing it and the people sustaining it are usually the same person. Back to the question at the beginning. Would you be willing to show up on an app like this, as an ordinary profile, with genuine intentions? Now you know this question has no easy answer. Not daring to. That's not cowardice. It's because the system genuinely exists. It genuinely turns honesty into a cost. It genuinely gives ordinary people no room to breathe. It genuinely asks you to take a risk first with no guarantee of anything. That reality is real, but something else is real too. The people who occasionally make you stop scrolling, the ones who give you that feeling of something genuine, they're inside this system too. They know the rules. They know the cost of honesty, and they chose to show up anyway. Not because they weren't afraid of losing, because at some point they decided to stop staking their honesty on a competition that wasn't worth it. They're not trying to win the game. They're playing a different one, not winning attention in 3 seconds, but finding the person willing to stop for something ordinary. That person is rare, but they exist, and you can only be found by them if you actually show up. Even if this system has made honesty a luxury, if you don't appear, you definitely won't meet them. If you do appear, you might not, but at least you're still inside the possibility.